Hello and welcome to my course. Now, before we begin learning our and working on our project, I want you to do few things. Well, first of all, we will go in Edit, Project Settings, and let's go in Player. Let's find these other settings. Let's scroll it down, and we should find Active Input Handling. And if you are using Unity 6, it will be set to this input system package new, and just make sure to check input manager old instead, and it will restart your project. So wait. So we're gonna use this old input system because it's pretty straightforward and also beginner friendly. Okay. And after your level is restart, your project is restarted. Next thing that we will do, we will go in Windows. And by the way, these steps are only necessary if you are using Unity 6. If you are using old Unity versions, you don't need to do it. So we will go in Window, Rendering, and Render Pipeline Converter. And here, make sure that it's set to build in to URP. And just check this material upgrade. Okay, and just say convert assets or initialize and convert. Okay, so why we are doing that? Because most of the assets that we might find in internet or Unity's asset store are made to work in different rendering pipeline, different graphic settings. Basically, they are done for the old Unity versions, and just to update them correctly for our Unity 6, we need to do those things. Otherwise, when we load our assets, they will be pink without material, and they will have problems. All right. So okay, now if you are completely new in Unity, let me tell you a few things. What we have here? Well, we have default project, 3D project in Unity. On the left side, we have hierarchy, and in the hierarchy, we have few things. Basically, here we will have everything that is in our scene. Right now, we only have few default things such as camera, light, and global volume. Right. In the middle, we have this big screen with the scene view and game view. In the scene view, we will build our project. We can zoom out, zoom in, and stuff like that. We also have this toolbar right here. By default, it's selected to this move tool. We mainly gonna use this move tool and this last one, rect tool. Okay, this rect tool where basically makes um, uh, helps us to resize our game objects. All right, and we also have game view to see how our game looks like. On the right side, we have this inspector panel, which can give us information about some specific game object. For example, if we select main camera, you will see that it will give us information about main camera. And here we have this projects view with the assets folder. And here in this assets folder, we will drop everything that we're gonna use during this project. Of course, I have right now few additional folders, so don't worry about them. Everything that's I'm gonna use in these projects will be provided to you, so you can unzip them and drop them in this assets view, and you can use them as well. All right, let's start now. And first of all, let's create some kind of ground for our character. And for that, I prepared this polystyle platformer starter pack. If we open, we have these prefabs, environments, and we have few things. I will use this object with the name of ground G2. Let's drop it in the scene. Okay. I will just change position to be 0, 0, and 0 in all of the axes. And let's select this ground G2. Let's hit F to zoom in, and here is our ground. Obviously, our ground is very small right now. Also, I will just take it a little bit down, and I want to resize it. Well, we can select it, and in the inspector we have this transform component which has the scaling, and we can scale from here. We can scale, we want to scale on the Z, which is this blue arrow, which will be our forward direction basically. And let's resize it, for example 100, and I think it's fine. And also I want to resize it horizontally a little bit wider. I want it to be, so I will make it maybe 50. Okay, maybe 50 is too much. I will make it 30 for now. We can always resize it however we like. Also, what I will do, I will right click on this ground, I will go in prefab and unpack completely. We'll talk more about prefabs in the later stages. Let's also change name to be just ground. Ground will be fine. And now let's drop our player there, which will be our vehicle. And for that I prepared this Rose Fantasy World folder, and if we go in prefabs we have this uh, vehicle. Let's drop it in the scene. Let's take it up just like so. Okay, and we have vehicle. Again I will do same, I will right click, prefab, and unpack completely, and let's rename it to be player. Okay, and this player has also this model for a child inside, which is also fine. Now if we go in game view, you see that our camera is positioned in the wrong spot and we are not able to see our player at all. So we can select our camera and we can try to position it a little bit better, so it will be near our player. Okay, we can check game view, we can take our camera up. Also what we can do, we can drop this game view for a moment right here and just position our camera just like this. All right, it's fine. I believe this ground is too wide right now, so I will select ground. Let me just make it 10, and I will position it like so. I will drop my game view back, and yeah, here we go. Now we have something playable already. Now I will take this ground and move it forward just like so. So here we have our character, our car. It will be our starting point of the game, and we will continue working now. Now, in order something to happen, we need to do few things, because right now if we hit play, nothing will really happen, right? Uh, Basically, what we want to have, well, we want our player to be interactable, meaning that we want to, well, we will have some obstacles and we will need to collide with them. And when you want to collide with something, you need to make sure that both of those game objects have colliders, because collider is main component in Unity. Now, if we select player, our player doesn't have any kind of collider, so we will add simple box collider to our player. So let's select player, let's click add component, and we will type box collider in the search. Let's add box collider, and we will resize box collider because it's in the ground right now. So we can take it on the Y, we can take it up. We can also resize it however we like. Now let me just check. Something like this will be fine. You don't need to be super precise. I think it's alright. You see, we have this green box, which is collider. Obviously in game view we will not be able to see that collider, but it's there. Alright, very good. And now let's click add component, and we also want to add rigid body. Basically, this rigid body is main physics component. For example, if I take my player up, And if I hit play, since we already have rigid body, our player will fall down. Okay, and as you see, it falls down, which is fine. But the problem is that it falls down and ignored our ground, and we don't want that. We want our player to fall on the ground. That happens because our ground doesn't have collider. So we need to add collider. Let's select ground. Let's click add components. We can type mesh collider in this case. Let's add mesh collider. Let's activate convex. And it will add collider. Let's hit play. And now we are able to drop on the ground, which is fine. Let me try to add box collider instead. You don't need to do it. I think box collider will work a little bit better. Yep. Um, yeah, let's add box collider into the ground instead of mesh collider. I'll remove this collider. We don't need that because mesh collider is a little bit heavy, um, and box collider is better. If you can add, obviously we don't need this player to be on the ground. We will take it down. We don't need to be in the air. Okay, everything is ready, and now we are also ready to basically start working on our script, and we will make our player to move. Now, before we do that, let me quickly tell you what I want to do. Well, our player should have constant forward movement, all right? And we should be able to control left and right, so horizontal movement. Now, if I select my player and if I move it left and right, just like so, look at position on the X. It's changing, right? So it means that in order to move our player left and right, we need to change position on the X. You see, this transform component has X, Y, and Z because we are in 3D space. So this X is for horizontal. Also, we need to get input information about our keys. For example, when our player touches left and right or A and D, we should detect input, and then according to that input we should change position on the X. All right, now if we go in edit project settings, and if we go with this input manager, if we open this axis, we have different things, different axes and buttons and so on. Basically, this is the main input manager. And as you see, we have this horizontal input. If we open this horizontal input, it already is set up correctly on the keys left and right, A and D. Of course, you can change those keys if you want to use something else, but I will not change anything. It's very standard. And basically, we should connect our script with this horizontal input, and Unity will automatically detect when we touch left and right or A and D on our keyboard. So that's all the points that I wanted to tell you. Now we are able to go and start coding. To stay organized in the assets folder, let's create folder for the scripts. I will name it scripts. Okay, let's open this folder and let's right click, create mono behavior script. If you are using old Unity version, you will see C# script instead. So just click on it. And now let's name it something. I will name it player, very simply. Now there is two rules to remember when you are naming your script. Always start with a capital letter, okay? And if you are naming your script something bigger, something that includes two words, for example, if we wanted to name our script player controller, we need to write them together without any kind of space between player and controller. Because when you have space in the name of your script, you will have errors and problems. So Start with a capital letter and no space in the name. All right. And well, in order this player script to do something, we need to assign it to some game object. And since this is player script, it will be logical to assign it into the player. So let's assign it into the player, and we need to drag and drop it on the player. And when you select player, you should see this player script there. Okay. Also, there is alternative. You can select player, you can click add component and search here for the script name, which is player, and edit from here. Both methods are fine. Now, if we double click on the player script, it will open our Visual Studio. And well, if you never coded before, this is basically default script, default C# mono behavior script. I recommend you to basically search for the C# basics in Google, at least to know what are functions, methods, and variables. Of course, I will do my best to explain you everything, but it will be helpful for you. Basically, we have two functions. We have void start and void update by default, and void start will be called when the game starts. Void update will be called every single frame. We can also create our own functions if we want, and we will obviously do it later. And inside those functions, we can write down our methods, different mechanics. Right here, in this space, we can create variables. Now, variables are just like containers to store information about different things. For example, I want to have speed, right? I want to have forward speed and side speed. For them, I need to create variables. How to create variables? First, we need to decide we want our variable to be public or private. Difference between them is that the public variables are, if variable is public, we will be able to see it in the Unity editor, and also we'll be able to access them from other classes. And since our speed will be public, since our speed um, we might change later, it will be good idea to make it public for now. So let's create public. Then we need to decide what type of variable we are creating. There are different types. They are floats and integers if you want to create some number variable. They are strings for the text elements, and so on and so on, booleans and so on. For now, since our speed is obviously number, we will use float, public float. Let's call this one, and then we can name it anything that we like. Just make sure that name is logical. For example, I will call it forward speed, and by default I will make it 5f and semicolon. Now we have our first variable. Let's create another variable, public float side speed. By default I will make it 7f. Those numbers are just like very default, very random, and we will play around with those numbers later and we will change them. But anyway, now that we have our variable, next thing that we want to do, we want to have our constant forward movement, as I said. So in the void update, we can use a transform.translate method. Now, when we refer to transform, it means that we are referring to our character, to our player, to our game object, which this script is assigned to. In this case, our vehicle. And this transform.translate method allows us to move game object within some time with some speed. Okay. There are different ways how you can move your game object, and we will handle default methods, and I will teach you different methods during this course. But first method is transform.translate. In order this method to work, we need to have few things as a parameter. So in brackets, we can say, first of all, our direction. And we can say vector free, which is three-dimensional point. dot forward because we want our forward direction. We will multiply it to our forward speed to have some speed. And also we will multiply it to time dot delta time for the smooth movement. This time dot delta time is time between frames. Now without this time dot delta time, our mechanic would work still, but problem will be that it will be depending on our PC or laptop. So if you have strong good PC, it will run better. And if you have slow PC, older PC, your speed might be slower. And to avoid all of this nonsense, we are just multiplying it to time dot delta time. So just remember when you are using this transform dot translate in the update method, always include this time dot delta time. Anyway, now we will have forward movement. Now for the side movement. For the side movement, we need to control the side movement. And we need to get inputs. We need to register input, as I said. So to register input, we can simply say input dot get axis, and in brackets and quotation marks, we will say horizontal. But type it correctly, otherwise it will not work. It's case sensitive. Now, I want to store information about this horizontal input to some variable. So up now in front of it, I will create variable, float variable, and let's call this one horizontal input. And it will be equal to this input. So we are getting information about this horizontal input and we are storing it into our variable with the name of horizontal input in order to use it simply in our script. Again, now let's use transform.translate method. Transform.translate. And in this case, we want to have some side direction. So I will use vector3.right. Okay. I will multiply it to our side speed in this case. Also, I will multiply it to our horizontal input to include our input. And again, I will multiply it to time dot delta time. That's it. So you see now difference. When we wanted to have constant forward movement, we just took our direction and multiplied it to some speed. But when we want to control our movements, such as side speed, we are including our input there. Now that's pretty much it. We can basically save the script, let it compile, and let's go back. Okay, so if we select player, you see we have this forward speed and side speed right here because we made those variables public. If they were private, we won't be able to see them here. But anyway, let's hit play. So we have these movements and also we are able to control our side speed. Of course, we can play around with the speed, we can make it faster, slower, and so on. And we will do it later, obviously. Also, let's just make some sides, side borders. For the side borders, for now, let's use simple game objects. So I will right click 3D objects and I will create cube. Let's place this cube right here. And we need to resize it on the Z. I will make it 100. Then I will just take it here. Okay, 100 is not enough at all. But maybe 600. So it should cover all of the area, For now, I will place it like this. And now let me just make sure that it's placed in the correct spots. So we have something like some line right here, which I don't like because we might have problems in the movement there. So I will make sure to place this border there. just like so. Maybe we can resize it on the Y, just like so. Let me try. Let's go there. Okay, we have some border there, which allows us to not to drop our player from the scene, which is good. And we can do same. We can duplicate this cube with the Control and D. We can place one here. Let's check. And yeah, for now it will be fine, obviously. Let's hit play and let's check right side as well. And by default, when we create 3D objects in Unity, they have colliders assigned. If we select this cube, you see this box collider is automatically there, which is very good. Now let's rename those cubes to be side wall 1 and side wall 2. Okay. Now also what we can do, we can have camera which follows our player, because otherwise it's very hard to see what's going on, and it's boring. Now for the camera, Unity has very nice cameras, camera package, which has name of Cinemachine. We can use this Cinemachine. We can go in Window, Package Management, Package Manager, and change it to Unity Registry. Let's type here Cinemachine. Let's find it. Let's install it. Okay, click on this install. So installing process will start. It will take few seconds. And this Cinemachine has different cameras inside, different virtual cameras which we can use. Okay, it's installed. We can close this tab. We can right click. And here we will find Cinemachine. Let's create Cinemachine camera. And into the Cinemachine camera, we need to drag our player as a tracking target. And position control, I will drop it to follow. And if we go in game view, we need to fix this follow offsets right now. I will just take it up, just like so. X is fine. And now we will be able to follow our player, basically. If we hit play, you will see that our camera is following our player. Now it's very hard to tell because we don't have anything in the scene. So let me just quickly create cube, for example, which I will drop somewhere. Let me quickly resize it 2 by 2 by 2. Take it up. Where is our cube? So if we hit play now, we'll be able to see that we are moving towards cube. You see our cube is getting closer and closer. It means that we are indeed moving. Of course, our speed is not really fast, but we can always play around with this. For now, let's quickly save the scene by clicking on this three dot and clicking on the save scene. Right, in this video, we will start working on our player health. For that, we need to have some obstacles. Right now, we only have this cube. Let me find if we have something better in the platformer starter pack. We will go in prefabs, environment, and indeed we have quite few obstacles right here, which we can use. Obviously, we will work on obstacles a little bit more later, but for now, let's find something. For example, this prop 6, which is box. Let's drop them in the scene. I will unpack them, so I will right click, prefab, unpack completely, and let's name it box. Okay. uh, let me hit F to zoom in. I think it needs to be a little bit larger, so I will make it 3 by 3 by 3. Maybe a little bit more, 5 on the all of the axes. uh, let's see. Yeah, I think 5 is fine. Obviously this box needs to have collider, so let's click add components. I will find box, I will say box collider, and this box collider will be added, obviously, which is exactly what we want. And for now it's completely fine. Obviously we will need to work a little bit um, on this collider, on this box later, but for now what I want to do, I will activate is trigger option. And now without is trigger option we will have actual physical interaction with the box, so our car, our vehicle will crash into this box. That's not what I want. What I want is that I want Unity to detect collision between our player and between our obstacle, between our box, but without actual physical interaction. So that's why is trigger option is there. So let's activate this trigger option. Okay. And for now, what I will do, I will duplicate this box with the Control and D. I will place few boxes around, for example, one right here and one right here. For now, 3 boxes will do. Um, and now let's go and create script which allows us to detect, which allows us to have a health system. So in the scripts, let's right click, create mono behavior script. Let's call this one player health. Again, with a capital letter and without any kind of space in the name of the script. And well, we will assign this player help script into the player as well. Let's drag and drop into the player. Let's double click to open in Visual Studio and let's start working. Well, we will need to have few variables. So let's say public int. We will want variable for our current health. We can use comma and create other variables if they have same type, so if they are all integers, and I will do that. Comma max health, comma damage amount. This will be amount that we will detect, that we will decrease our current health with, this damage amount. So when the game starts, we want to start with the maximum amount of health. So we can say current health equals max health in the void start and semicolon at the end. Okay. Now we will create our own public function. So make sure that you are inside this closing loop of the script. We will say public void. Let's call this one deal damage. And let's open and close curly brackets. Now, what we want to have here, we want to decrease our current health by damage amount. For that, we can say current health minus equals damage amount. What is this minus equals? Well, minus equals is same as to say current health equals current health minus damage amount. So those two lines are same. First one is just shorter and more professional, so we will use minus equals. Okay. Also, we need to say logic, what should happen when our health gets to 0. So if our current health is less or equal to 0, and open and close curly brackets, something should happen. Well, basically here we will have game over screen appear, so restarting mechanics. But for now, before we do anything, we can say game object dot set active false. Um, with this game object.setActive, we will just hide our player from the scene. Okay, and for now it will be fine. Now let's save this script with the Control and S or Command and S if you are on Mac. Now that we have this deal damage mechanics all done, we need to call this deal damage from somewhere, from the specific for the specific situation when our player will touch the box. Okay, for that we will need to create another script, and also we will need help of tag system. What is this tag? If we select player, you will see up top we have tag and layer. Now they are just like categories, and we can create different tags and different layers, assign them in the different game objects, and use them in the scripts. For example, if we select player and if we scroll down this tag, Unity already has this player tag which we can use. So let's select this player tag. This way our player tag will be assigned to our vehicle. It's very important. If for some reason you don't see this player tag, don't worry, you can click add tag, you can click plus and create that tag, and then you will be able to assign that player tag to your vehicle. Now let's go in scripts and let's create another script. Let's call this one damage player. And in this case, we will assign this damage player into our boxes, into our obstacles. So let it compile, and I will drop the script into my boxes, in all of them. And let's double click to open it in Visual Studio. Now here we will use special method with the name of onTriggerEnter. We can click enter and it should auto compile. If for some reason in your case it's not auto compiling, you can type it by hand manually. So what we have here, we have this onTriggerEnter, which will be called when something will trigger collider of this box. You remember we made collider of the box triggered. Okay, to make everything more specific, we can use our tag that we created for our player. We can say if other dot game object dot tag double equals, and in quotation marks we can say name of the tag, which is player with a capital P. Type it correctly, otherwise it will not work. Basically, when this happens, when our player will trigger collider of the box, when our player will touch our box, our health should decrease. Problem is that the deal damage function is in our player health script, and we are in the damage player script, so we are not able to simply say deal damage. It will not work. First, we need to get access to this player help script. Now, how to do that? First of all, we will say name of the script that we are trying to access, in this case player help. Then we need to name it something. It's just like creating variable. Let's say player help, but with lowercase p, player help, which will be our container, okay? And we can say equals other dot game object dot get component, and here in this sign we will say player health with a capital P again, brackets and semicolon. Now what is this? Basically, this will check our player, everything that is into the player, will find this player help script and will give it, will give this container access to our player help script. Now basically right here we can say player health with a lowercase p dot deal damage. Now we are able to successfully access our deal damage function. We can save this script and we can compile. Also, what I want to do, I want to destroy my game object after we collide with it. Okay, and to do that, we can say destroy our game object and semicolon. Let's save this script. Let it compile. Let's go back. And if we select player, we have this current health max health damage amount. We don't need to say anything in the current health. It should be automatically assigned. I will make max health to be 5, for example, damage amount to be 1. Also, I will simply duplicate this box 2 more times, so we will have 5 boxes. Let's remove this cube. We don't need that. And now let's hit play. Let's see. I will click pause. I will select player just to show you. So we start with the 5 health, 5 current health. Let's continue. Let's touch these colliders, these boxes. We have 4. Oh, we have 3. We have 2. Okay, our vehicle is really, really slow. I don't like it, but we will increase speed. And we have 1. And when we have 1, our player is hidden. So everything is pretty much working. Next step will be to actually have some kind of effects, maybe explosion effect when we touch this box might look cool. To have explosion effect, what we can do, well, first of all, we need to have effects. And I prepared these JMO assets, which we can use. And if we open these prefabs, we have different effects, including these explosion effects. And we have different explosions. So I will use the second one, second explosion. Now, but how to exactly use this explosion? Let's go and open our player help script again. And here, um, when our player gets damaged, we can use explosion effects, but also we can use explosion effect into this damage player. I think it will be better to use it in damage player script. So right here, we will need to create variable public game object. Let's call this one explosion effect semicolon. And here, when we gets damaged, so basically after we deal damage, we can have explosion effect. Now, to have this effect, we can use instantiate method. Instantiate method allows you to create different game objects in the different scenarios in your project. We can say instantiate, and in order this instantiate method to work, it needs to have few parameters. It needs to know what we are creating. We are creating an explosion effect, comma. It needs to know position. You can use our box's position. So transform dot position, comma. And for the rotation, we can use quaternio dot identity, which will leave original rotation of the effect. That's pretty much it. Very, very simple. We can save this script. Let it compile. Let's go back. And if we select box, we need to drop this explosion effect from here. I will drop second one. I will do exactly same for all of the boxes. Now, it's not mandatory and necessary to use same effect as me. There are other effects. You can play around with them and use any of them. Okay, but main thing is that if we hit play, we should see explosion effects. Let's go, and here we go. We have a nice explosion effect. I like it. I think it looks all right. So now that we have boxes, next step will be to have visuals for the health, because right now our players really can't tell when our health is decreasing. For that, we will need to have health bar. For that, I prepared this health bar folder. It contains border elements and fill elements. Okay, and we will create simple health bar. It also means that we will need to work on Unity's UI system. Before we do that, let me tell you one thing. If we go in game view, here we have resolution. Mine is set to full HD by default, and if you are using Unity 6, I think yours will be set to same full HD, and this full HD is default resolution. Most of the games of the same type are using this resolution, so if you don't see it, if you have other resolution, just make sure to assign it to full HD. If you don't have this full HD 9020 by 1080, you can click plus and create that resolution yourself. If you are using old Unity version, your resolution by default would be set to 3 aspect ratio, and make sure to assign it to this 9020 by 1080. Okay, now to create UI, I will right click on the empty space, I will find UI, and I will create image. Okay, and I will rename this image to be border. When we create UI element, it defaults, it creates canvas and event system. If we go in scene view, if we select canvas and hit F, we will see that we have this script. Basically, this is canvas panel, and we will store everything, every UI element into this canvas panel, including our border. Now in the canvas, let's change UI scale mode to be scale with screen size 9020 by 1080, which is our resolution, in order everything to be fine. Now this border, it's up to you where you want to place your border. I will place it at the uh, top left side, and I will resize it. If we go in game view, this is how it looks like. Obviously, we don't want to have white image. It's boring. That's exactly we have these borders, these models, right? So we will select border, and here in the source image, we can drop any border that we want. For example, like this, and I will select set native size. Okay, and now I will resize it to from the scaling however we want, however I want, just like so. I think it will be fine. um, Let me move it a little bit on the left side. Okay, it looks all right. Now in the canvas, I will right click, and I will create empty game object with the name of health bar. And this health bar will handle all of our health bar elements. Now, in order everything to work, we need to select this health bar, and we need to take this health bar, which is empty game object, but it has this border still, probably you are able to see. And I will take it here, and I will make sure that border of this health bar is exactly same as our border. Okay, we can select the rect tool. We can resize our border just like this, so it will match our border. You don't need to be super precise, just try your best, just like so. Okay, now what I will do, I will drop this border game object inside this health bar, so it will be child of this health bar. You see, this health bar now has this drop down, and inside we have this border. And let's select the health bar. I will select these anchor points right here, and I will select this top left. This way our health bar will be attached to this left corner. We are doing that because if our game will be played in different resolution, we want our health bar to still appear in the top left. So we are attaching these to top left. All right. So now in the health bar, let's right click, create. No, we'll go in UI image, and I will say I will rename it to be fill. Okay. I will select anchor points. I will hold down Alt and be stretched all the way. Okay. And before I do anything, what I will do, I will just select rect tool and resize it so it will match our health bar. It will be fill elements which should be inside this border. We can go in game view to see how it looks like. Obviously, we don't need to have this white image. So we will drop this red image instead there in the source image. Here we go. Now we have this red image. We can resize if we don't like something. I think it looks all right. Now, also we will select this image type and we will select fill method to be horizontal. And yeah, here we go. Now, in the health bar, let's select health bar. Let's click add component and we will add slider there. Slider is main component basically, and into the slider we need to drop this fill rect, so our fill element there. I will select max value to be 5. I will select only whole numbers, and we have value, which is slider. As you see, it slides up and down. By default I will make it to max. And now we need some way to connect this slider, our health bar, with our health mechanics, right? You see we have this max value and value. Those are main components of our health bar. We need to connect this max value and value with our current health, which we have in the player help script. How to do that? First of all, we will need to have new C# script. So new mono behavior script. Let's call this one health bar. Let it compile. I will assign this health bar into the health bar game object. So let's drag and drop inside this health bar. Let's double click to open in Visual Studio. Now, into this health bar, what we need? We need to have visual reference to our slider. For that, up top, we should import libraries, libraries. So we will say using Unity Engine dot UI and semicolon. Now, right here, we can say public slider. Let's name it slider with the lowercase s. Now, we don't need this void start and void update in this case. Instead, we will create two public functions. One will be for the max value, one will be for the value. So, public void, let's call it set max health. And in brackets, I will create one placeholder integer with the name of health with the lowercase h. I will explain you why we need it very shortly. Public void set health, and as a placeholder again I will create same health integer, and here we can access our slider, and we can say slider dot max value equals health, which is our placeholder integer, and slider dot value equals health as well, and semicolon. And right here, to update everything correctly, we can say slider.value equals health. Okay, now what we are doing at all. As I told you, we need to connect this max value and value to our current health. Since those ones are in different scripts, we need some placeholder for now to use right here. This health is just placeholder. It doesn't have any more mission. Its only task is to act like placeholder in this case. Now, let's save this script, and we need to access this script from our player help script. So up top, what we can do, we can say public name of the script, which is health bar. Let's call this one health bar with a lowercase h, semicolon at the end. And as I told you, we need to connect this current health with our values. So after our current health dot max health, we can say health bar dot set max health. And now in brackets, instead of this placeholder health, we can use current health. This way, our current health will be connected to max health. That's exactly why we needed this placeholder. And to update everything correctly, after we get damaged, we can say health bar dot set health in this case, current health in the brackets, semicolon, and that's pretty much it. We can basically save this script, sorry, and everything will work fine. But before we test, we need to assign few things. So in the help bar, we need to drop our slider. So let's take slider, let's drop it here. Let's select player, and into the player health, we need to drop our health bar game object. Okay. Now let's save this scene. Let's press play and let's test. So when the game starts, we have maximum health, and then our health is decreasing slowly. So it means that everything is indeed working. Two more. One and two. Here we go. Everything is working fine. We can save this scene. All right. Next thing that we will do, we will start working on our scoring system, and we will create fully working scoring for our project. Now, for that, we will need something that we can pick up, obviously, maybe some coin or something like that. So let's go and find if we have something in our platformer starter pack. I will go in prefabs, environment, and let me check quickly what we have. Okay, we have some obstacles, but there is no coin or gem or something like that as I see. And well, it's fine. For now, we can use simple game object, and then we can add some kind of actual model. Okay, so let's go and create 3D object, and doesn't matter. Let's create capsule. Let's go in scene view. Let's hit F to zoom in on the capsule. I will change position to be 0 and 0 on the capsule, and let's see where it is. Let's take this capsule near our scene. Okay, it's in the ground. Let's take it up, and so yeah, anyway, this capsule will act like our crystal or gem that we need to pick up for now. In the next video, I will add some kind of actual models and we can use them. But for now, let's do it like this. Just make sure that it has collider, and we should activate this is trigger option on the collider. And also we will create tag for this capsule, and let's click add tag, let's click plus, and let's call this one coin with a capital C. Save. Let's select capsule and let's assign this coin tag there. All right. Now, I will just duplicate this capsule a few times. Let's place one here. Let's place one here. And now let's go and create new script. I will call it pickups. Okay. And let it compile and we will start working. Now, creating scoring system is not really hard. It's pretty straightforward process. Let's assign these pickups into our player. Okay, let's double click to open in Visual Studio. Now, what we need here? Well, first of all, we will need to have variables. So let's say public int coin score, let's say. Okay. Also, we'll need amount, which we should increase our score. So I will say score amount. All right. Well, for now, that's all that we need. And we will create on trigger enter function, which we already used before. Here we can make everything specific by searching for the coin tag. So if other dot game object dot tag double equals, and in quotation marks we will say name of our tag, which is coin in my case. And well, what should happen? Well, basically our coin score should increase by score amount. To do that, we can say coin score plus equals score amount. You already have seen minus equals. Now we are using plus equals. It just means that we are taking coin score and we are adding score amount to it. So basically we can, and before we save actually, after we pick up our coin, we want to destroy that coin. So we can say destroy, and in brackets we can say other dot game object. So we will destroy our coin after we pick it up. All right, let's compile now the script and we will test. So I will select player and let's say score amount to be 1, so our score will increase by 1. And coin score, obviously I will leave it on a 0. So game started. Let's pick up our coins. 1, 2, and 3. So very nice. It's obviously working, but we need to have some kind of visuals as well, some kind of UI. So let's create UI. Let's go in the canvas. Let's right click on it. UI, legacy, and text. Okay. And well, let's rename it to be score text. I will select score text. I will hit F to check where it is on the canvas panel. I will place it at the top right. I will select drag tool and make borders bigger, something like this. Okay. Now, these text elements has few things. Obviously, we have field for the text, and here I will just say score and some zeros as a placeholder just to check how it looks. We can increase font size. Well, 80 is too much, I think. 60 maybe, or 50. Yeah, it's up to you which one you want. Just play around with the numbers. We can also align it in the center or on the left side or whatever. I usually align it on the right side, just like so, so that our score will increase like this. Okay. Also, we can change color if we want. If you want to change color, you can absolutely do it. You can choose any color that you like. And note that this score comes with some default font, which doesn't look good in my opinion. Good thing is that we can change this font if we have fonts in our project, and I prepared this FPS font that we can use. If we open, we have this font element. So I will select score text, and here where it says font, I will simply drag and drop my font. And here we go, our font has changed. We can increase size and so on. Also, I will select anchor points and I will anchor it at the top right. Okay. And well, basically our UI is ready. Only thing that is left is to connect this score with our scoring mechanic. It's also very simple. Let's open our pickups and let's import a UI library using Unity Engine .ui and semicolon. Now let's create a new variable, public text. Let's call this one score text and semicolon. Now when the game starts, what we want to have? We want our score text dot text to say to be equal, and in quotation marks we can say for example score 0, something like this. So when the game starts we will see that we have 0 score. But when we pick up our score amount, when we pick up something, we obviously want to update our score, right? For that, we can say score text again dot text equals. First of all, in quotation marks, we will say what we want to have as a text element. We want to have score and two dots, and after that, we will just say plus our coin score and semicolon. This way, our text, which is our UI, will be connected with our coin score. Very, very simple. Let's save and let's test. Let it compile and let's select our player. We need to drag score text right here. Let's drag and drop. Let's press play. So now when the game starts, we have score 0, 1, 2, and 3. Very nice, our score is working fine. Also, what we can do, we can add some kind of effect when we pick up our score to make everything more visually appealing. And we can find something in our effects, in our JMO assets. Um, and let's find something, I don't know. We will test. I will select player, hit F to go back. Okay, let's test. We want some kind of impact effect or heat effect, we can use this one from the electric, the last one. What we also have, we have some school heads. uh, okay, it also looks cool, but not in for our game. I think we have some ice. Okay, it also can be used. Oh, we have impacts. We can use those impacts as well. So it's up to you which one you want to use. Basically, it doesn't matter right now. And how to use them? Well, we go back in our pickups and we will create a variable for our uh, effect. So public game object. Um, let's call this one score effect. Okay, score effect. And well, basically, here when we pick up our score, well, pick up our coin, we can use instantiate method. You already have seen this instantiate method. We need to say score effect, comma, transform dot position, comma, quaternion dot identity. Very, very simple. Semicolon. Let's save and let's see how it will look. We need to select our player. Here we need to drag our effect. So drag any effect that you want to use and let's test. So, yep, here we go. We have some kind of effect. I like it. Um, Pretty chill effects. Okay, that's it, pretty much it. That's how you can create fully working scoring system for your game. So let's save this scene. All right, now let's work on our environment. But before we do that, let's quickly add some coins, some actual coins in our scene. And I prepared this. Let me find where it is, by the way, I forget. So I prepared this folder of Poly Kebab. It has some coins inside, so we can go in prefabs. Let's go in gold coins, and here are different options. I will use, I don't know, this crown one. Okay, I think it's too small. Let's resize it. Let me see. Yeah, 4 by 4 by 4 looks fine. Um, well, this coin needs to have collider, so I will add mesh collider. I will activate convex and this trigger option. Okay, And now we will simply, first of all, let's unpack it. So let's drag on this coin with the right mouse, prefab, unpack completely. And let's call this one coin. And we should assign coin tag to it. It's very important, otherwise our mechanic will not work. And that's pretty much it now. It should work. Let me see. Yeah, it's working. Problem is that I want this coin to rotate, and I want it to rotate on the Y position. So let me show you. We want this kind of rotation on the Y. We don't care about X and Z. We only want rotation on the Y. For that, what we can do, we can write simple script. Uh, let's go and create script. Let's call this one coin rotation. Okay. Let's compile. And rotation game objects, it's very simple. Let's open. We will need to have some variable for the speed, public int rotate speed. And now we can simply say in the update that we want transform dot rotate, and this transform dot rotate use three parameters x, y, and z. For the x we will use 0. For the y we will use rotate speed times time dot delta time for the smooth movement, and for the z again 0. And we can save. Let's compile. We should assign some speed to the coin, and also script to it. Where is our coin rotation? I don't know speed. What speed will be fine? Let's try 30. I think 30 is too slow. 100 maybe. Yeah, 100 is better. We can obviously increase rotation speed if we want. For example, let's try 200. Yeah, 200 is fine. And here we go. Now, instead of these capsules, let's remove those capsules. We can basically drop coins. And to stay organized, let's create new folder, empty folder, with the name of coins. And I will drop my coin there, and I will simply duplicate this coin a few times. I don't want it to have rotation by default. Let's make it 0 by default. Okay. And now let's duplicate. You can place it, play around with the environment and place them around your scene. You know, I will not spend much time doing it, but yeah. Okay, now let's start working on our environment. And now level design is not easy process you in terms of time, because you need to spend some time designing your environment. I prepared pack that will make process easier. It contains different prefabs with which we can build our simple game, uh, and it's called simple poly city. It's low poly assets. We can go in prefabs, and we have different things. We have buildings, nature, roads, vehicles, and stuff like that. By the way, if they are purple, you can do same process as we did before, going in rendering, render pipeline converter, check this material upgrade, and click on this button, and they should have normal materials back. But yeah, it's up to you. What I will do, I will start by going in nature, and I will drop this uh, grass tile, and I will make it bigger, 100 by 100, something like this. Okay, and we should make sure that we stay organized. So I will create empty game object to the name of environment, and I will store everything that will be part of our environment right here. So what we can do, we can place some trees. This tree is too small, I think. Let's resize it to be 3 by 3 by 3, something like this, you know. Let's drop it inside the environment, and well, we can build our game by duplicating those trees. Okay, something like this. We can place other trees as well. For example, this one. Let's resize it as well. And that tree is still too small. Something like this. You also can put these buildings instead. It's also up to you. They are different buildings, and I think they are enough to build something. You might need to rotate those buildings. By the way, you can check this rotation tool and rotate it like this. So it should be minus 90 on the Y. Okay, we have some kind of uh, building. And yeah, just play around with these buildings. We have this stadium as well, which we can use. It will be fine. And you will build something. Also, at the end of the level, I want to place some finish line. And I believe we have something in the Polystyle Platformer pack. Let's go in prefabs environment. I think we have this finish line. Yep, this one or this one. Both will be fine. Let's drop this first one. Okay, it's very, very small. And also we need to rotate it. On the Y, it will be 90 degrees. Let's resize it. Okay, I think it's fine. And we will place it at the end of the level. For example, right here. Okay. For now, I will place it near my level. But basically, it should be placed at the end of the level, at the end of your scene. I think it's too small. And let me just drop my environment details in the environment folder. And this finish line, let's right click, prefab, unpack completely, and let's rename it to be finish line. Also, this finish line needs to have collider, so I will add box collider to it, and we should make sure that this box collider covers all of the area. And we can click edit collider and resize it just like this. Okay, and we will need it because we want to transition from level to level, so we will work on it later, but for now, yeah, let's have it like this. So what you can do now, you can start working on our environment. Take your time and create something playable, something nice. What you also can do, you can also play around with the lights. Right now we have these directional lights. We can decrease these directional lights, and we can make it, for example, 0. And instead we can add some uh, extra lights in the scene uh, by right clicking, going in lights, and we have few options, but most of the time point light is most of the used. So we can add point light. Where is our point light? It's too far from us. Okay. And we have these point lights. We can change colors, we can change intensity. It's on the box. I think you see something like this. What you can do with the point light, you can have different kind of effects. For example, you can light up these windows if you have night scene. You can place them at the window, and it will look like it has some light. And you can place different lights for each window with different colors like this, and it might look cool. Of course, our skybox right now is for default skybox. It's for the day, but you can change skybox. By the way, you just need skybox material, and if you have something, you can go in Windows, rendering, lightning, environment, and here we have this default skybox. But we can change the skybox if we have something. Right now, I don't have anything, basically, so anything decent in the scene. But there are different skyboxes in Unity Asset Store that you might get. Actually, let me quickly show you. I think I have something in the in our in my package manager. Let's search for the skybox. So I will use something default. Uh, this diverse space skybox. I don't think that it's good for our game, but as an example, just to show you how it works. Where is our skybox? So if we open these materials, we have some material here, okay? And we can go in window, rendering, lightning, environment, and we can drop our material right here in the skybox. And you see how it's changed. It has completely different vibe. If we hit play now, you have some skybox going on. As I said, I don't think that it matches our game, but yeah, it's up to you. You can find uh, pretty good skyboxes. They are just big in size, so I don't think that I will include them. But you can go in Unity's Asset Store. And by the way, if you don't know what is Unity's Asset Store, it's Unity's default store, official store, and they are a lot of assets, and they are a lot of free assets as well. You can go there, make sure to enter there, sign in there with the same account as you are in Unity Hub. This way, they will be connected. Then you can search something. You can click Add in Project, and then this package manager will pop up with this specific mm, asset, and you will just click import or download and then import, and it will be in your assets folder. So go there, find some skyboxes that you can use and use them. So yeah, play around with the environment and you will get to nice points. All right. Next thing that we will do, we will start working on our menus, and we will create main menu and pause menu. How to do that? Well, first of all, what I want to do to change name of the sample scene. So I will right click on this three dot, save scene as in the scenes folder, and I will call it level 1, and let's save. Okay, now if we go in scenes folder, we will have two levels, level 1 and sample scene. We don't need the sample scene anymore, so we can delete it because we are in the level 1 now. All right, now I will go in file, new scene, create. Okay, and we have new scene here. Let's right click on this three dots, save scene in the scenes folder. Let's call this one main menu, and let's save. Yeah, save. Okay, we have main menu. Now we will create UI elements, obviously. So let's create some background. Since we don't have any background, let's use some image, UI image. I will select these anchor points. I will hold down Alt and this last one, stretch. Now, if you have image, you can put it in the source image components, but I will just put some black image for now as a background. And well, what we need? We need to have some text element to say name of the game, obviously. So in the canvas, let's right click, UI legacy text. Let's go in scene view. Let's select text, hit F to zoom in. I will place text up and select rect tool, make text bigger, borders, just like so. And you can name it something, I don't know, 3D endless adventure game. Okay, just placeholder. You can obviously name it something else. We can place our FPS font right here. We can change font size to something bigger. I will align it in the center and change color to be white. Okay, now we need to have two buttons. One will be for the starting our level, starting our game, and one will be for the quitting our game. So in the canvas, let's right click. Oh, by the way, in the canvas, let's change UI scale mode to be scale with screen size 9020 by 1080. Okay. Now in the canvas, let's right click, UI legacy button, and I will select drag tool, make this button a little bit bigger, position it where I want. Here we go, we have button. Let's call this one start button. Okay, start button. Now we can also change color if we want of this button. We can open this drop down and change text to say start. I will change font and font size, maybe a little more. And yeah, here we go. We have button. Now I will select the start button. Let's go in scene view. I will click Ctrl and D to duplicate our button. And I will take the second button down. And this will be our quit button. So let's change name. And also let's change text to say quit. Here we go. Now if we hit play, obviously nothing will gonna happen. We will be able to click on these buttons, but they are not doing anything. Also, if you have some button elements instead of these default button squares, you can use some special elements that you might find. You just need to select button and change the source image to your um, desired image. Okay. Also, these buttons have this button component which has these elements. You can play around with them, and we have different kind of colors. For example, let me just make this start button white for a moment. So we have highlighted color. Highlighted color will be color that our button will get when we hover over it. We have pressed button, well, it's self basically it will be color of the button when we press on it. We also have selected button when we select this button. So As you see, I made different colors and I will show you in practice. So I'm hovering and it's green, as you see. I'm touching, it's blue, and now it's selected, so it's purple. So you can play around with those colors and you can change them. I will not do it. I will just change color back again. And now, since we have two buttons, we will need to have two public functions, one for each button. And then we will be able to connect our function with our buttons. For that, we will need to have script. So let's go and create script with the name of menu. Okay. I'll let it compile. And before we do our coding part, I will explain you one more detail. Let me talk about scene manager. Since we want to transition between levels, for example, when we click start button, we want to go in level 1. We will need to have we'll need help of a Unity scene management. So if we go in file, build profiles, scene list, we have the scene list right here. If you have something, just remove it. And basically in the scenes list, we should have everything that we want to be part of our final project. Right now, because it's empty, we can click add open scenes. It will add main menu. I will remove the sample scene. And also we should add our level 1. So let's go in the scenes folder. Where is our scenes folder? Here it is. And let's drop level 1 right here. Also, organization matters here. Main menu obviously should be first and then should come our levels. And note that they have index numbers right here, 0 and 1. We can use those index numbers to transition in our desired level. For example, if we want to go in level 1, we can tell Unity to load scene with the index number of 1. Or if we want to go in main menu, we can tell Unity to load scene with the index number of 0. Very, very simple. Okay, but make sure that you add main menu in level 1 here. And now let's go and open our script. And up top, I will say using Unity Engine .scene management to import libraries for it. Okay, and I will create two public functions: public void um, game start, let's say, and also I will create public void leave game. Okay, we have two functions, and here, well, we want to load our level 1. As I said, we can say scene manager dot load scene, and in brackets we can say 1 with the index number 1. For the leave game, it's also very simple. We just need to say application dot quit semicolon, and it will work. Problem is that quit button is not working in Unity editor, but it will work when we build our game to play it on our PC or laptop. Just to check if it's working, we can add our debug message, debug.log, and in brackets and quotation marks, we can say we are leaving the game or something like that, semicolon. Basically, when we click our quit button, if we see this message, it means that everything is fine. So let's save this scene script, let it compile, and now we need to connect those functions with our buttons. First of all, I will assign menu to our canvas. And now let's select start button. Let's scroll all the way, and here we have on click events. We can click plus, and here where it says none, we should drop canvas because our canvas has script. Okay, let's select this drop down, and we will find name of the script, which is menu, and function name, which is game start. And now game start is connected with our start button. Let's do same for the quit, plus, drop canvas, menu, leave game. Now let's save this scene and let's press play. First of all, I will check quit button. Let's click quit. And if we go in console view, you see we have message, so it means that it's working. Now let's click start. And here we go. Our game has started. Very nice. It means that our menu is working. Now let's go and create pause system. For that, let's load our. Let's go in scene view, and let's go in the level one. Okay, and in the canvas, where is our canvas? In the canvas, here it is. Let's right click, UI panel. I will create panel and I will call it pause screen. Okay. Now this pause screen will handle all of our pause elements and we will place everything here. And let's go in scene view. I will select direct tool. You can leave like this on the whole screen, but what I like to do, I like to resize it to have it only on the center, something like this, you know. I will change color to be darker. And in the pause screen, let's right click, UI, legacy text, and I will take this text up. I will resize it to be a little bit bigger. Okay, let's name it paused. Let's say text to be paused. I will change font style, font size, and stuff like that. Uh, in the center, color, I will make it white, and I will resize it more. Paused. Okay, and in the paused, we will need to have again two buttons. One will be for the resuming game, one will be for the going back in main menu. So in the pause screen, let's right click, UI legacy button. Let's name it resume button. Okay. Let's change text to say resume. And I will select button. I will make it bigger a little bit. Something like this. I will change color of it. And I will change text, font, and size. Here we go. We have resume button. And now let's go in scene view. Let's select resume button and let's duplicate with the Control and D. And I will take second button down. I will call it menu button. Okay. And I will change text to say menu. Okay. Now for the for those buttons, for the menu button, everything will be similar to what we did in the main menu, but for the resume button, it will be a little bit different because we also need to get input. For example, when our player will touch escape key, we need to be able to pause, and also we need to be able to unpause. We also need to be able to unpause by clicking this resume button. So it will be a little bit different. Uh, but yeah, nothing really hard. Let's go and create new script. Let's call this one pause. Let it compile. And let's double click to open in Visual Studio. Now let's add using Unity Engine dot scene management semicolon, and let's say here we will need to have a few variables. One will be for the panel, for the pause screen, public game object pause screen. Also we need to have boolean is just like indicator. It can return true or false, and we can use it to check if we are in pause mode or not in the specific situations. Okay, So public bool, let's call this one is paused, semicolon. Now let's create a menu function for the menu, public void menu button. And well, everything will be simple here. We can say scene manager dot load scene with the index number of 0. Now let's create a function for the resume button, a public void, and I will call it pause on pause. And here we should say simple logic. If is paused, and it means if is paused is true, uh, we will say is paused is false, and don't worry, I will explain you everything. And pause screen dot set active is false. Okay, this logic will be called when we are in pause menu and when we click resume button. It means that we want to continue playing. So is paused will become false and pause screen should go because we want to play our game, obviously. So after this if statements bracket, closing bracket, I will add else statement, open and close curly brackets again. And now we will do opposite. Is paused will be true. Pause screen dot set active will be also true. So this logic will be called when we are playing game and when we click our, for example, escape button to go in the pause menu. Also, when we go in pause menu, we should freeze our time. Okay, to freeze time, we can say time dot time scale equals 0f. And to unfreeze time, then we can say time dot time scale equals 1f right here. Just in case, we will add time dot time scale equals 1f for the menu button as well, because unit sometimes has errors. So only thing that is left is to assign this mechanic in our input. So in the update, we can say if input dot get key down, and in brackets we can say key code dot escape. Now I'm doing it on escape, but feel free to do in other keys if you want, and we will call here pause and pause. That's it, everything that we need for our pause system. Let's save and let's test. Let's go back. We should assign our pause screen, pause script into the canvas. And we should drop this pause screen right here. So pause screen, I will drop it here. And let's select the resume button. Let's click plus. Let's drop canvas. And let's find pause and pause and pause. Let's select menu button. Let's click plus. Let's drop canvas. And let's find pause and menu button. Now let's say before we save, let's select this pause screen, and by default I will uncheck this component to hide it. Okay, and let's save this scene. Let's press play. So yeah, we are playing game. Let's click escape. We are paused. We can click escape to unpause. We can also click resume to unpause, and we can click menu. We will go in menu. We can click start. We will go start. So everything is working fine. Let's save this scene. All right. Now what we will do, we will start working on our player shooting, and we will add some shooting mechanics to our player. Now, since we don't have any dedicated gun on our player, I will create fire point at the wing of our player. For example, from here, we will create our bullets, okay? So on the player, let's right click, create empty, and let's call this one fire pause, and it will be fire position. We need to position our fire point in the correct spot, and It's not easy, so just check from all of the angles. Somewhere here, okay, in front of our wing, we will create our bullet. All right. Now, what else we need? We can make player shooting with the two parts to make everything easier. First part will be to actually create our bullet in the scene when we click our mouse click, for example, when we touch our mouse, our left mouse click. And second part will be to actually make our bullet to launch, make our bullet to fly. For that, well, we also will need to have bullets. So let's create simple 3D object, a sphere. Okay, this will be our bullet. Um, we can obviously change color or material on it, but also we need to resize it because right now it's too large for the bullets. Let's try 0 0.5 on all of the axes. I think it's better now. Yeah, let's call this one player bullet. And this player bullets needs to have few things. Well, it also obviously all has collider by default, which is fine. And we will add one more component, which is rigid body. And this rigid body will add some physics elements such as gravity, air resistance, and stuff like that. Um, what I will do, I will just uncheck use gravity because I don't want my bullet to fly down. When the game starts. Okay, so we will uncheck use gravity. Also, let's make our bullet prettier because right now it's just gray bullets, which is boring. um, let's try to change material on it. Do we have any good materials in our project? Let me see. um, we don't have anything in our platformer asset as I see, or we have some materials, but it's for the environment. Materials, environment. Well, we have different materials. We can use those materials if we want. We can take them and drop them in the on the bullets, and bullet will have different color. Let's try this ocean one. Also might work. I will use this pink one. Okay, and also let's add some um effects so that our bullet will look cooler. So in our JMO assets, let's see what we have. We have these electric effects. Okay, let me see how it looks. It might look cool. Let me position it better, just like so. We can also resize our effects little bit if we want. Okay, something like this will be fine, I think. They have sparks, glow, and yeah, I think this glow is not needed. You can obviously leave this glow if you want. I will uncheck this glow. Okay, and what I will do, I will just drop this effect inside this player bullet, so it will be part of player bullet and it will follow player bullet. Okay, now that we have our bullets all working fine, next step will be to create script, new script. Let's call this one player shooting. Let it compile and we will start working on it. It will be not hard to create this shooting mechanic. I will explain you how to easily create it. So let's open our shooting player shooting script. What we need here? Well, we will need to have variables. We will need a reference to our fire point. So public transform fire pose. Okay. Also, we need a reference to our bullet. public game objects bullet. Well, for now we don't need anything. And now let's create function with the name of shoot, public void shoot. And well, this should basically create our bullet in the scene. For that, we can use instantiate method that we used before. We are creating bullets, comma, at the fire pose dot position, and at the fire pose dot rotation. Okay, and this will create bullet. Also, we should attach it to some input. All right, so in the update, let's get input. Let's say if our input dot get mouse button down, and in brackets we can say 0, which means that we are referring to our left mouse click, and here we will just call our shoot function. For now, that's it. Let's save this script. Let's compile. Let's go back. And well, we need to create prefab from these player bullets in order to use it. And prefabs are just like game objects which can be reused in other levels or in scripts and so on. And to create prefab, it's very, very simple. We just need to drag and drop this player bullet from the hierarchy to assets folder. But to stay organized, let's create new folder with the name of prefabs. Let's open prefabs and let's drop player bullet there. And now it's changed color and icon. It means that player bullet is now prefab. I will remove this player bullet from the hierarchy because we don't need it anymore. Let's attach our player shooting script to the player. And here we need to assign few things. We need to assign fire pause and bullets, and we need to assign this bullet from the prefabs folder. Where is our prefabs? Here it is. Let's select player and let's drop player bullet right here. Now if we hit play, when I click my left mouse, you see our bullets are creating. Obviously they are not doing anything just yet, and well, first part is over with it. Now for the second part, as I said, we need to make our bullet to launch. So what I will do, I will go in prefabs and let's take our player bullet back in our hierarchy. Also, I will go in scripts folder and I will create another script with the name of bullets. And this time we will assign this bullet script into the player bullet. So let's assign it right here and let's double click to open in Visual Studio. Now for the bullet, what we need? We will need to have few variables. We need a variable for the speed, so public float bullet speed. Also, we need reference to our rigid body, so private rigid body, and let's call this one RB. And well, also we need to have some kind of time, some kind of bullet time, because I don't want my bullet to exist in the scene forever. It will not be good for optimization. So after some time, we need to destroy our bullet basically. So we can create variable for it as well, public float bullet life, let's call it. And yeah, for now that's it. We obviously we might need to have some impact effects also. Yeah, let's create variable for it, public game objects. Let's call this one impact effects. All right, we have everything. First of all, right now we are creating this private rigid body RB, but when we use this RB, Unity will not know what we mean under RB. Okay, To tell Unity what we mean under RB, we can use getComponent method. We can say RB equals getComponents, and the component that we want is rigid body. Brackets and semicolon. Well, this getComponents method will check all the elements under our bullets, and we'll see that, yeah, we have this rigid body. So when we use RB, we mean this rigid body. That's the whole process of the getComponent. Now, anyway, in order to move our bullets, we can use rigid bodies methods. One of them is rb.linear velocity. By the way, if you are using old Unity version, you can use rb.velocity instead. Mm. And it will be equal to, well, we need some direction, which is transform.forward in our case, and we will multiply it to our bullet speed, obviously, because we need some bullet speed. Okay, now this will make sure that our bullet have some speed, and it will fire our bullet. Also, what we need to destroy our bullet, as I said. So I will just create awake function, and this awake function will be called even before start. And here I will say destroy our game object, which is our bullet, comma, and here we can say bullet life after some time. We will assign some time to the bullet life in the Unity editor. Also, we need to destroy our enemies. In our case, our enemies will be those boxes. So these boxes needs to have tags. So let's select one of the boxes and let's add tag. Click plus, and let's call this one enemy with the capital E. Let's save. And now I will just select all of my boxes and I will assign enemy tag to them. Okay. Now all of them has enemy tag. Now let's go back, and now let's create on trigger enter function. And here let's find our enemy tag. If other dot game object dot tag double equals, and in quotation marks we can say enemy. Okay, well, what should happen? In general, we should have some impact effect. I guess we can use explosion effect for it. But anyway, let's instantiate some effects. Instantiate impact effect, comma, at the other dot transform dot position. Okay, and we can use quaternion dot identity here as well. Okay, we have some effects. Also, we want to destroy our box, so we will say destroy other dot game object. And also we need to destroy our bullet, destroy game object, and semicolon at the end. I think that's pretty much it. We can save this script. Finally, let's go back. Okay, now let's select player bullets, and we need to assign bullet speed. Let's make bullet speed 10, bullet life 2 seconds will be fine. And impact effect, I will use some explosion effect here as well, but you can use any other thing. So I will just drop explosion right here. And since we did some changes to the player bullet, and since it's prefab, what we should do, we should go up and we should click overrides and apply all to save changes to the prefab. Okay. After doing that, we can safely remove our player bullet from the hierarchy, obviously. And I think we assigned everything. Let's press play. And yep, we have bullets, and it can destroy our boxes. Obviously, bullet speed is too low, I think. And also note that our player moved. That happened because our bullet is colliding with our player, and that should not happen. And for that, what we can do to fix it, let's take player bullet back in the scene. We can use layer system. Basically, we can create layer for the player bullet and for the player, and then we can tell Unity to ignore collision between those two layers. So player bullets, let's create a layer for it. I will just call it bullet simply, and let's assign bullet layer to the bullets. Yes, change children as well, and let's select player. Let's add layer. I will call it player, and let's assign player layer. Yes, change children. And now we should find our matrix, our collision matrix. So let's open our project settings. Let's find here physics settings. I don't even remember where it is. Yeah, here it is. Physics settings, layer collision matrix. Here we have all the layers. And you see, we have these bullets and the player. So I will just uncheck this bullet and the player crossover point, and that will be pretty much it. Let's go back. Now we should not have any problems. I will just increase speed of the bullet to be 20, and also let's click overrides, apply all. Let's remove player bullet from the hierarchy and let's check. So yep, here we go, much better. And now we don't have any weird collision between bullets and the player, which is also fine. And note that after 2 seconds our bullets are destroyed due to our bullet lifetime, which is enough time to reach boxes. Obviously you can take those bullets a little bit up by repositioning player fire pause. If you want to have it a little bit up, it's up to you, and it will be completely fine. Also, you can resize player bullets if you want. And yeah, here we go. Now, one problem that we have here is that now I can spam shoot my player bullets, and that's not really fair, right? Our players should not be able to do that. Instead, what we should do, we should have some kind of time between shots. And for example, we can be able to shoot, and after that, we should have some time between shots, and then we should be able to shoot again. That's how it's gonna work. So let's do that. Let's open our player shooting, and we need to now work a little bit here. Let's create variable for the time between shots. So public float time between shots, semicolon. Also, let's create boolean, which will tell if we can shoot or not. Let's name it can shoot. By default it will be true, because when the game starts we will be able to shoot, obviously. Now, when you want to create time between shots, delay times, and stuff like that, you can use the coroutine. And coroutine are great. You can give coroutine different commands, and it will obviously do everything. To create coroutine, we should create special function with the name of iNumerator. So we will create iNumerator. Let's call this one shoot delay. Okay, and here what we can do, well, this shoot delay will be called when we fire first bullet. After that we should not be able to shoot, so we'll say can shoot equals false. We should have some time, some delay time, right? So we can say yield return new, wait 4 seconds, and in brackets we can say any number and it will be our delay time. But since we already created variable for it, let's use time between shots, semicolon at the end. And after that, we will be able to shoot again. So can shoot will become true. That's the main logic, okay? Now we need to call this coroutine from somewhere, and obviously we will call it from the shoot function. We will say start coroutine, and in brackets we should say name of our enumerator function, which is shoot delay. One more brackets and semicolon at the end. And one more detail, everything is almost ready. We just need to add condition right here. We will use end sign right here, and we will say can shoot. Now, what's and why we are doing that? In order the shoot to happen, both of those conditions should be true. We obviously can always click our left mouse, so left condition always can be true, but can shoot will always be true, only will be true after some delay time, after some time between shots. So when the both conditions will be true, our shooting will happen. That's it. I think that's it. Let's save and let's see how it works. Let's select player, time between shots. Let's make it 1. So we will be able to shoot 1 bullet every 1 second. Yeah, I'm spamming my left click, and as you see, I'm only able to shoot uh, once in 1 second. Obviously, you can increase or decrease that number. It's up to you. But yeah, here we go. This is how you can create fully working shooting mechanics for your games. All right. Now, in this section, we will work on our obstacles, and we will add more obstacles because right now we only have those boxes, which are obviously fine, but we need something more. So let's open our platformer starter pack that we have, and let's find if we have something in the environment. I believe we do. So what we have here, um, we have few things that we can use. For example, this one can be used. I want something that will move, something like moving obstacle. We can use this one, but let me see what else is there. Okay, let's use this one. Let's drop it in the scene. Let's click F to zoom in. I will unpack it, right click on it, prefab, unpack completely first of all. Okay, so it has blade components and this border component. We obviously need to work on this blade, and we should make this blade to actually move left and right, and also probably we need to rotate it as well. Okay, so let's rotate this prop on the 90 degrees on the Y, 90. Let me see how it, I think it's a little bit too small for our game, for our world. Let's try to resize it. Okay, maybe I did, it's too large now. I will just take it forward. No, I think it has good size. So I will place it here. What I will do, let's rename it to be, I don't know, spinning blade. Yep, spinning blade. And I will take this blade component, let's rename it to be blade. So I will take this blade component and I will place it right here. And this will be our blade starting point. Now what we need to do? Well, we need to move blade just like this. And when I do it, the Z position is changing, as I see. And let me just try one more thing quickly. Yep. Let's play 0 0 0 0 and 90. Okay. All right. So as I said, we need to change. We need to move this blade on the Z, and also we need to rotate our blade. Let me select blade, just like so, on the X. You see our X rotation is moving. So we need to move it on Z and rotate it on X. By default, I will make 0 and 0 on these rotations. Now, let's go and create script. Also, we will need to have collider to this blade. So let's add some collider. Let's add mesh collider. I will activate convex, and I will activate this trigger because we want to damage our player with this blade. So it means that we can add damage player script there, and we need to drop explosion effect there. Let's do it, not to forget later. So I will select blade and I will drop explosion effect here. Okay. Now let's go and create script. And let's call this one spinning blade very simply. Now I will assign this spinning blade into this blade aim object because it should move. And let's drag and drop. Now the way we will handle our movement, we will have 2 points, point A and point B, and we will make our blade to move between those 2 points. As a point A, we will take our blade starting current position, and to make everything correctly, what we can do, we can duplicate this blade with the Control and D. Let's take it out of the spinning blade. I will not change position or anything. I will just rename it point A. And this point A, we only need to have transform components, so we can remove everything. Everything else, just remove them. Remove, and scripts as well. We only need this transform component. And now I will duplicate this point A and I will rename it point B. And I will just take point B and place it somewhere here. Okay. So we have point A and we have point B. Now let's open our spinning blade script and let's create few variables. We need reference for our points, so public transform point A, comma, point B. Also, we need to create integer for the speed, so public int speed. And we also need to create one three-dimensional point, which will act like our current target at the specific moment. So let's create private vector free current target. So vector free is three-dimensional point. Also, we need to rotate our blade. So I will say public int, and let's call this one rotate speed. By default, I will just make it 100. Okay, if something we can always change later. Now in the update, what we can do, we can say simple logic. If transform dot position, which means our blade's position, double equals to our point A dot position. So if we are at point A, our current target should become point B. So we will say current target equals point B dot position and semicolon. All right. And now let's add else if statement. If transform dot position double equals point B dot position. So if we are at point B, our current target will become point A dot position, and semicolon at the end. Now that we set up our current target, we can use Unity's method, which is vector3.moveTowards method, which allows you to move game objects between points, in this case between 2 points. For that, we will take our position, which is transform.position, equals, as I said, we will use vector3.moveTowards method, and this move toward method needs to have few parameters. As a starting point, we will take transform.position. Then we need to have our current target. So we will pass current target, and then we can have some speed multiplied to time dot, oh, what I did? Speed multiplied to time dot delta time, and semicolon. Now this will allow us to move our game object between 2 points, but we also need to rotate our game object on the X, as you remember. So we can say transform dot rotate. It's very simple. We just need to, for the X, we will pass our rotate speed. We'll multiply it to time dot delta time, because we need to change X. For the Y and Z, we can say 0f, 0f, because we don't care about Y and we don't care about Z. And that's pretty much it. Everything that you need to create some kind of moving obstacles. Let's go back. Let's see how it looks. So I will select blade, and we should drop our point A and point B here. As a speed, I don't know what speed to have. Let's try 3. Let's hit play. So I will go in scene view, and here we go. We have moving blade, and I will check if it's able to damage our player very shortly, but everything is working fine. Obviously we can change rotation speed if we want, so it will rotate even faster. We can change speed also. Maybe we want it to move a little bit faster, you know. But main point is that everything is working fine, so I will just make sure that it's able to damage our player. So let's go and let's see. Yep, it's able to damage our player. Very nice. Everything is working fine. So what you can do, you can basically take the spinning blade, duplicate it, and place it somewhere else. Just remember to create this point A and point B for it with the same method as we did just now. All right. So next thing, that let's add one more obstacle. I have seen something interesting. So let's go, and this one, let me just drag it in the scene. Okay. This also has 2 components, which is nice. Let's unpack it. Prefab, unpack completely. Let's resize it quickly. 3 by 3 by 3. What we can do, we can basically take these props, which is child, and let's call this one spikes, and these props, I will just call it obstacle spike. Okay, so these spikes can move up and down. We will make it move well up and down. I think it's common mechanic and it's not hard to implement. I will show you how. And well, obviously the spike needs to have collider. So again, let's add mesh collider, convex, trigger, and also let's add damage player script to be able to damage. Let's again drop explosion effects, spikes, and I will drop explosion effect here. And now let's create another script for this spike. So let's create a script, and let's call this one obstacle spike, very simply. Let it compile. We will assign it to our spikes. Let's drop it inside the spikes. Okay. And let's double click to open in Visual Studio. Now, what we need here? Well, we will need to have a variable for the distance, for the amount of distance, maximum amount of distance that this spike should travel up and down. So let's create variable public float, and let's call this one move distance. By default, I will make it 1f. Also, we need to have speed, public float speed. By default, let's make it 2f, for example. And also, we need to have starting position. So I will say private vector free start pause. Okay. So when the game starts, we want our start pause to be equal to transform.position. So our starting point will be point that we will be when the game starts. All right. So after that, in the update, what we can do, well, we know that in order to move these spikes, we need up and down movement. And when we move up and down, this Y position is changing. So we need to change this Y position. For that, I will create floats with the name Y offset. And what we can do, we can use unit is one of the methods, which is mathf.pingpong. So let's say mathf.pingpong. So what is this ping pong method? Basically, this ping pong, well, as if we hover over, you will see the little explanation. But basically, with the ping pong method, we can travel some distance in some time with some speed. So we can travel some maximum distance, move distance with some speed in some time. To set up everything correctly, we can say time, which is time, multiply to speed, which is our speed, and multiply to our move distance. Okay. So, well, actually, we don't need to multiply it now that I'm thinking. We need to place comma and move distance because it's other parameter. Time speed will be enough, and as a second parameter we will use move distance. Okay, after that, what we can do, we can take our position, which is transform.position. Obviously, we can take our start pause, which is our starting point. We can add some direction with a plus, and as a direction we can add vector free dot up because we want up movement, and we can multiply it to our Y offset, which we just created. That's pretty much it. It will allow us to move our game object. Obviously, there are other methods how we could do it. We could use same mechanics as we did with the moving platform. Not moving platform with the spinning blade, but I just wanted to show you different methods, and this mathf.pingpong is another method. All right, anyway, as a starting point, I'll just take it down so it will be hidden from the scene, just like so. And well, basically, let's hit play and let's test. I will go in scene view. Here we go. It moves. We can obviously change speed if it's too fast, and it will be slow, and we can increase move distance as well. Yeah, I think 1.5 is fine. So 1.5, and speed, let's make it 1.5. Well, those numbers are really up to you. And now let's test if it's able to damage our player. Let's go. Let's pick up our score. And yep, it's able to damage us. We just got damaged. Very nice. So it means that everything is working. Now you can duplicate this obstacle spike and place them in your map a few times. You can also use other obstacles which you might find here. It's up to you. You can use this one. You can even make it move if you want with the same exact mechanic as we did with the spinning blade. All right. Uh, you can use those props and stuff like that. Just make sure that they have colliders which are triggered and they have damage player script so that they will be able to damage our player. So here we go. Let's save this scene. Okay, now it's time to add our audios and musics into our game because they might give our game some kind of vibe which we are looking for. And one more thing, you can go in game view and make sure that this mute audio option is not activated, otherwise you will not hear anything. Well, for the audio, I prefer this pack which we can use as an example. Of course, there are a lot of assets, a lot of music and audio that you can use around, um, but the process will be completely same. So I will use those examples. I have background music and menu music, and other ones are just uh, sound effects. We have this coin sound, which will play when we pick up our coin. We have explosion, which will play when we when we destroy our cubes. We have damage when our player gets damaged. And we have player shooting. So let's start by working with the sound effects. So I will select coin, damage, explosion, and player shooting. I will drop them in the hierarchy, and I will create empty game object with the name of audio manager. And let's drop our sound effects inside audio manager. Now, if we hit play, you will hear all the sounds. Probably you heard. And well, that happened because if we select any of those sounds, they have main component, this audio source, and play on awake by default is activated on them. We don't want play on awake, obviously. We want to control when exactly to play those sounds. So I will select all of them and I will uncheck this play on awake. We don't need play on awake. Now, let's go and create script with the name of audio manager. And we will assign this audio manager into this audio manager game object. And then we will start working. Let's double click. So since we have multiple files, multiple sound effects, it will be a good idea to create some kind of list array of sounds. And to do that, we can say public audio source, then list sign, and let's name it sound effects. Now, if we save the script, I will show you what it does. Let's go back. And if we select this audio manager, you will see that we have the sound effects with the element 0. But if we drop our coin, damage, explosion, and player shooting, you should see that now we have 4 elements. If we open this drop down, we have 4 elements indeed. And note that they have these index numbers, which we can use in our script. Basically, if we want to play explosion, for example, we can tell Unity to play sound with the elements of 2 from this sound effects list, which is nice. So let's create one public function, public void play sfx, and we need to have placeholder for now. And let's call this one, let's create int placeholder integer with the name of sound to play, something like this. And now we can say sound effects, then our list sign, and for now we will place sound to play there dot play. So what we are doing, we are telling Unity to take sound effects, take this list and play some sound from there. Because we don't know which sounds exactly to play right now, we are using the sound to play integer. Okay, and that's only thing that why we need this placeholder integer sound to play. Now we need to access these scripts, a script from other elements, from other scripts. There are different ways how we can do it, but one of the ways is to create instance of the script. To create instance, we can say public static, the name of the script, which is audio manager in this case, and instance. And let's create awake function. Let's say instance equals this. That's it. Now we will be able to access functions of the script from other scripts. Basically, we will need to access this playsfx function in the specific situations, and in brackets we will place some index number, some specific index number instead of this placeholder sound to play. Now let's save this audio manager and let's see. Well, we have element 0 coin, right? Which should play when we pick up our coin. So main challenge is to find where we are doing that mechanic, in which script and in which moment. Obviously we are doing it in our pickup script right here. So right here we can say audio manager dot instance dot play sfx with the index number of 0, and that's pretty much it for the coin. It will be fine. Next is damage, which should play when our player gets damaged. So we can open damage player script, and right here when we are dealing damage we can say audio manager dot instance dot play sfx with the index number of 1 in this case. So what's next? Next we have explosion, which should play when we destroy our enemies, and that happens in bullet, I believe. Yep, in bullet script. Right here when we are destroying our enemy we can say audio manager dot instance dot play sfx with the index number of 2. Is it 2? No. Yep, it's 2, element 2, explosion. Okay, explosion. Anyway, let's go back. And let me check one thing. And next is element 3, which is player shooting, which should play in player shooting script, obviously. And well, we can do it in the shoot function. Right here, we can say audio manager dot instance dot play sfx with the index number of 3 and save. Now, let's compile, let's go back and let's test if everything is working. Also, you can control volumes of those sounds. From here we have volume, pitch and stuff like that. Let's press play. So coin, yep. Shooting is working, damaging is working, explosion is working. Okay, very nice, everything is working. I think explosion volume is a little bit too high, but you will play around with those volume and you will place them correctly. Now, if you will need to add more sound effects later in this project, you will just do same exact method. You will drop them into this audio manager. Then you will drop them into the sound effects. They will have some index number, for example, element 4, and then you will find that specific moment in the script, and you will do exactly same as we did just now. Now, for the background music, it's even more simple. Let's go and simply drag this background music into the hierarchy, and I will drop it inside audio manager, but I will not drop my background music in the sound effects. There is no need, because background music already has display on awake, and this in this case we need display on awake, and we can activate this loop as well. I'll just decrease volume, and if we hit play we will have background music. Yep, here we go. We have background music. So let's save this scene and let's go in the main menu now. Um, Main menu. And let's simply drop our menu music right here. I will activate loop and let's test. Yep, we have sound there as well. So here we go. This is how easily you can add some background music and sound effects for your games. Okay, we are back, and now it's time to create other levels. But before we do that, I modified the speed of the player. I'll show you how it looks like now, um, and it's more dynamic right now. I like the speed. I think it's fun. I also modified speed of the bullets as well, and increased the size of the map, so I have a longer map. And yeah, it's fun game. But anyway, so now I just made my forward speed 40, side speed 20. You can use those numbers, or you can use your numbers. And for the player bullet, I just increased bullet speed to 70. Okay, and that's it. Now, to create new levels, there is one important detail. Well, obviously, you need to create different environments. So level design you should do uh, again for other levels, but basic mechanics that we did, such as player, we assigned some scripts and did some mechanics, health system, scoring system, obstacles and stuff like that. We can take them with us. To do that, now we need to create prefab from them. You already know how to create prefab, so we have prefabs folder. Let's open this prefabs folder and let's see what we need to take. I will take my main camera, drop it here, and Cine Machine as well. Okay. Obviously, we need to take player with us, so let's take player. Um, what's this ground? Well, I will take this ground, but it's not necessary really. But I will take this ground with me. I will take canvas and event system. Let's open coins folder, and we just need to take one coin, and it will be enough. I will take this finish line. I will take one of the boxes with me. Um, I will take the spinning blade. There is no need to take point A and point B because we need to create them again. Let's take obstacle spike and audio manager. That's everything that we need to take for now. Let's save this scene and let's go and create new scene. Create. Let's save this scene with the scenes folder. Let's name it level 2 and let's save. Okay, and now we should basically do everything again. Okay, forward direction is here, so we will drop our player into the scene. Okay, let's remove this main camera from the scene. Instead, I will take my main camera and Cine Machine and drop them in the scene. Let's select Cine Machine. We need to drop our player as a tracking target there. Let's see how it looks. It's fine. Let's take our, let me see, our canvas with event system and drop them into the hierarchy. We can take coin, we can drop it here. We will take finish line and drop it at the end. Also, let's take the spinning blade, drop it somewhere. Let's drop this box somewhere. And audio manager in the hierarchy. And yeah, let's take this obstacle as well and drop it somewhere. Take it down, just like so. And finish line as well, take it somewhere. Okay, main thing is that we need to make those basic mechanics to work again. For that, we need to check and assign everything if something is missing. So let's select player, and you see this health bar is missing, score text is missing. So let's assign them health bar, score text. Otherwise, we will have errors simply. Let's select canvas. Everything is ready here. Into the health bar, everything is fine. Um, coin is fine. Spinning blade should be fine, but we need to create point A and point B for the spinning blade. So I will select blade. I will duplicate with the Control and the D. Let's take this blade out of this spinning blade, and let's name it point A. And let's remove everything a part of this transform component. You already have seen this method, and I will simply duplicate this point A. I'll place it here, and it will be point B. And let's select our blade, and let's drop our points there, point A and point B. Okay, that's it for the spinning blade. Everything else I think it's fine. Obviously, we will check now if everything is working. So let's check. So yeah, everything seems to be working. Shooting. Shooting is also working, and we fly away because of this finish line, obviously. Oh, let's check audio. I will just uncheck this mute. Yep, everything seems to be working fine. At this point now, what you should do, you should again build the level as you like. Main point is that we need those basic mechanics. We took it with us, and you can take those things in every level, which is very, very nice not to create all of those mechanics over again. It saves a lot of time, really. And also, don't forget to add this level 1, level 2 in the scenes list here. After level 1, we need to have level 2. Also, now we need to work on finish line, okay? Uh, because right now, when we go with the finish line, nothing is really happening, and obviously we need to load other levels. So let's go back in level 1. Uh, let's go in level 1. Let's select the finish line. I will hit F to zoom in. Okay, here is our finish line. Now I will check this is trigger option of the finish line, okay? And what we can do, either we can create script that we will assign to the finish line, or what we can do it on the player. We can create script on the player, which will check for the finish line and which will take us in the next level. Either way will be fine. So let's create script on the finish line because our player already has some scripts. And well, let's go in the scripts folder. Let's create new script, the name of finish line. And we can use player tag because our player already has tag of player, which is fine. Let's open this finish line. Up top, let's say using Unity Engine .scene management because we need to load some level. And here, um, let's call on trigger enter function. And let's check for the player tag. If other.game object.tag double equals, and in quotation marks we can say player. What should happen? Well, basically we can say scene manager dot load scene with the index number of 2, right? And it will work. It will take us in the level 2. Problem is that I want this script to work in all of the levels. Even if I have hundreds of levels, this script should work. I don't want to write this script for every scene. It will be bad, and it will take a lot of time. Instead, what we can do, we can tell Unit to check in which scene we are at the moment and just load the next scene. In this case, if we are in level 1, it will load level 2. If we are in level 100, it will load 101 scene. Okay? To do that, in brackets, we can say scene manager dot get active scene brackets dot build index plus 1. Okay? So this scene manager dot get active scene dot build index will check in which scene we are at the moment, and we are just adding 1, so we will go in the next level. So let's save the script. Nothing really hard here. Let it compile. We will assign script into the finish line. So let's take and drop it inside finish line. This finish line has collider, which is triggered. And let's click overrides and apply all to save changes to the finish line. Let's save this level 1 scene and let's check how everything works. Let's go. Let's destroy some boxes because why not? You can obviously place much more boxes. What you also should do, you should slowly increase difficulty of your levels. With progressing, you can place more obstacles and stuff like that. But yeah, anyway, it works fine. Obviously, when we go here, we will have error because we don't have level 3, and Unity tries to load other level. So what we can do, we can create another level now, which we will place at the end of all of our levels. It will be kind of like winning scene, and let's save this scene in the scenes folder. Let's call this one win. And well, basically we will place this win scene at the end of the level. So let's go in build profile, scene list. I will place it here after my level 2, but if you will create more levels, just make sure to place this win scene at the end of all of your levels. And here we can create simple UI image. Let's select canvas. Let's change UI scale mode to be our full HD resolution. And I will select image. Let's select anchor point, hold Alt and stretch all the way. Let's select color. Let's make it black. And here in the canvas, right click, UI, legacy and text. Let's select text. Let's hit F. I will take text up. I will resize borders of the text. And here we can have some message. Congratulations, you have finished all of the levels and stuff like that, and won. Now I'll change fonts and resize this text. um, change color. Here we go. We have this simple message, and now here we need to have one button for the going back in menu. And from the menu they can either restart game or go back in, or quit our game. So in the canvas, let's create UI legacy and button. I will just resize a little bit this button, and let's select text. This will say menu. I will change font and font size, and we will create one simple script for this menu button. Create a script. Let's call this one winning. I will call it winning. And we can assign this winning into the canvas. And here we will say using Unity engine.scene management semicolon, and let's create one public function, public void menu button. And here we can say scene manager dot load scene the index number of 0, because our menu will always have this number. That's it. Let's save. Let it compile. Let's select button. Let's click plus on the one click, drop canvas, and find winning and menu button. Let's save. Okay. And I will check everything from level 2. All right. So let's go in level 2 and let's check. Let's test. So we are in level 2. Let's go and cross finish line. And yeah, here we go. Congratulations, you have successfully finished level and won. Let's click on this menu and it will take us in menu. From here we can either quit or start over. Very nice. Let's save this scene. All right, as a final word, what we should do, we should create a restarting mechanic, because right now when our health gets to 0, nothing is really happening. Our player just disappears, right? So in the player health, right here, instead of this game object set active false, we will restart our level. For that, up top, let's add using Unity engine dot scene management semicolon, and instead of this game object set active false, we can say scene manager dot load scene, and in brackets we can say scene manager dot get active scene brackets dot build index to reload the level which we are at the current moment. That's it, pretty much. We can save the script. Let's compile. Let's go back. I will select player and I will click overrides. Well, we don't need to change anything, I see. Okay, let's test if level is restarting. Yep, level is pretty much restarting. So here we go. Let's save this scene. So with this, our course is over. I hope it was informative for you and you learned a lot of things and it was fun. So congratulations once again. Thanks for enrolling in my course and joining me. It means a lot. And only thing that is left is to actually build our game in order to play it on our device or upload somewhere or send it to someone and stuff like that. To do that, we will go in File, Build Profiles. We will make sure that we have everything here in the scenes list, okay? Then we can go in Player Settings. Here we have some settings. If you have company, you can name, place it here, product name, version. If you have icon for game, you can place it here. Resolution, mine is set to full screen window, but there are other options as well if you want. Splash image will be played when the game starts, before everything, before main menu. So if you have some logo or something like that, you can place in splash image. You have other settings, but everything is set up here in very standard way, so I will not change anything. And when you are happy with it, we can close this window. We can click Windows and we can click Build. And building process, and it will ask where to save your builds. I recommend you to create new folder for the builds and save your build there. And building process will start. It will take some time, a few seconds, minutes, depends on how big is your project. And then we will have something like this. Okay, and obviously this is actual application which will run our game, but note that in order to upload your game somewhere, or if you want to send it to someone, make sure to include all of those files, not only application, because that's not gonna work. And now we can click on it and enjoy our game.